It's gonna be a quick one today, so let's meet our leaders fast. Today, spawning in the back lines of Supreme Isthmus, a blue commander in Cortex Blue. That doesn't make any sense. A commander that goes by the name of just Jack. On the other side of the map, spawning in the geothermal position, we have Wright. Oh, okay. It's the Wright brothers, either one of them. What are their names? Orwell? Something like that? No, I'm thinking of something else. Anyways, Wright here, we're off to quite a strange start to this cast. Wright, going to be the red commander here, also spawning as Cortex, and going to be spawning in the geothermal position. Now, the reason this was sent on over is because of these fellas right here. The Pew clan, apparently working together and trying out some sort of cheeky strat here. Stellus, as you can see, handing over the entire economy right now. Okay, this is strange. This is definitely a change to the current meta of Supreme Isthmus, but certainly definitely going to be an interesting one. We've essentially foregone all economy right here, instead handing it all over to the Maroon Commander, who is now able to just build wind turbines and then pump out. I guess we're just going to do resbots here? Okay, so there was a bit of a description that went with this video, but went with this replay submission, but I'm going to omit that because it felt like a little bit of a spoiler, but I am curious to see what we're going to go for here. Yeah, okay, just resbots to reclaim everything. We haven't even gone for our metal extractors here for the Maroon Commander. We're just going for more and more resbots. Oh, okay, so strange. So this is a build that's apparently a refinement of the build that we saw recently. The idea being where one commander on the front here produces all the units, the other commander uses, well, their commander to move forward and capture all the metal extractors, put down LLTs, basically contesting the middle of the map. It's a bit of an interesting decision because obviously the commander is very powerful and it can contest a lot of these early T1 units, but it's also quite slow, yeah? So you're not really moving all too fast, but there you go. Stellus and Stellus and Fader working together right here to try and, I guess, get this all up and running. Yeah, I mean, the Maroon Commander completely full on metal because all the metal extractors have been handed over from over here. I still can't help but feel like maybe getting these mexes up and running, though, is important. One extra constructor to get those mexes up and running seems like it really would mean the world right here, but apparently not. LLT ends up killing a grunt as well as a grave robber there. That's quite nice. Now we're going for the 4.3. A 4.3 metal extractor does not take long to pay itself off, but Bartender is coming in hot. We're looking for it. Yep. There we go. Mechs will be sniped right here. I don't think in that short amount of time we managed to pay ourselves back for the metal extractor there, but certainly it is nice that we denied all that. What on earth are we doing? Bartender just firing away right here. No care in the world for the LLT that just brought it down to 5% HP. My goodness. Yeah, I think Stellus wins this fight. Boom goes the Seafoam Green Commander, recklessly plunging into the fight right here on the front lines. Mismanaging the HP. It's a resource just the same as any other. And just like that, the Yellow Commander now has more and more metal to feed back to the Maroon Commander, who is at 3 minutes and 13 seconds gonna start going into a T2 laboratory. Okay, this is bizarre. We have Wright going for the very standard geothermal build right here, where you go for the build power and then you eventually get the geothermal up and running and then you go into T2. It's a very stock standard build. What we got going on right here is much crazier. Yeah, the Maroon Commander inheriting all the riches from the Yellow Commander, fighting on the front line right here, and now just using it to rush directly into T2. So strange. This is great though. This is so much higher, so much faster paced than what we usually see. A little bit of a run by over here. I think this is exactly how you counter this. Because you effectively only have one commander controlling the front lines, it does mean that their APM is limited. Yeah, run by is shut down. Hero LLT as well as some blitzes managed to shut down this grunt run by over here on the left-hand side. If we get more of these metal extractors up and running, I mean, we're denying a lot of them here to the enemies, so obviously it's a net zero change right here, but Stellus could continue to improve the position here by building those metal extractors and getting them up one by one. We do have constructors moving forward. And we are gonna go for gunslingers. That is cheeky. That is really cheeky. All right, I want to get a picture of that gunslinger with it right next to the time. There we go. The 4-minute, 30-second gunslinger is impressive, to say the very least. We're going for a radar jammer bot, too. Always very nice. Radar jammers, underutilized, I feel. Yeah, definitely feels like radar jammers can be underappreciated at times. Reflex and Judon trying trying definitely to try and contest this front line. Having a hard time of it though. Nice D guns right there. Yeah, there we go. Shutting down some of those medium tanks, some of the blitzes over here. All eventually will fall. LLTs here to guard the metal extractors though will be sufficient. We also have vehicles being handed over. Yeah, it looks like Live Evil, the Brown Commander, has been handing over vehicles here as well. And we already have a Gunslinger on the front. Gunslinger finds the Commander. As long as it's microed properly, this Gunslinger gets a free kill on the Commander here. Janet's helping out quite a lot, and just like that, Gunslinger snipes the first comm of its lifetime. Blasting away at everything on the front lines here. We do have medium tanks up and available as well, which I always say is basically the prime target for a Gunslinger. Every time a Gunslinger connects a shot, it gains a little bit of experience, making it ever so slightly better. It's exactly what you want to do with it, though. Get it into little skirmishes one-on-one. It's essentially a dueling bot. You want to get it into 1v1 duels and then have it come out on top. There we go. Gunslinger now into the backline. And what on earth are we going to do with this? I mean, we need T2 units to shut this down. We do have the T2 lab just barely finishing up right here from Natabaka, the powder blue commander. The Gunslinger's just going to have a field day tearing apart this T1, though. Yeah, aggravators don't stand a chance. Their missiles too slow. Their overall movement speed too slow, too. Hound's tearing apart the front line right here. This is beautiful. I have a feeling as soon as this video goes live, we're going to start seeing a whole lot more of this. Because this looks just unstoppable right now. Gunslinger continuing to waddle backwards into the blue lines. Oh, Sheldon were bumped out. That's not what we need. We need fiends, and we need a lot of them. Natabaka in a ton of trouble right now. Yep. Commander without a radar jammer has no way of shutting this down. Be so careful not to get D-gunned right here. But we pull it off. Commander gets sniped, shuts down the geothermal here as well, and that the Gunslinger is 2 silver bars. That is a hero Gunslinger if I've ever seen one. Now waddling its way into the backline. My goodness, 6% HP on that laboratory every time it fires. And it does have just a tremendous amount of XP on its belt right now. Shutting down those T2 is much more valuable. Oh, shuriken in the air. Okay. That's a very, very efficient way of shutting this down. A little too late, I would say, but the shuriken in the air does eventually paralyze this poor unfortunate Gunslinger. 28 kills and a silver star to mark its accomplishments here. Rampaging through multiple bases, killing multiple commanders. And now the Hound Ball has been given enough time to scale up here. Typically, you would shut this Hound Ball down with the T2, but because that Gunslinger was able to do so much damage to the T2 player on the front line, obviously that's not going to happen. Yeah, we do have T2 in the back line, but if these units don't start streaming out immediately, it's game over. Radar and radar jammer providing immense value here as well, of course. I thought we were going to use them to keep Gunslingers out of radar range, but we're just going to use them for Hounds, lending quite a bit more potency to Hounds than Gunslingers, of course. Allowing Hounds to fire away at a much farther range. The base of the Seafoam Green Commander, Bartender, reduced to slag. Medium tanks falling pretty quickly here too. Hound's not the best at killing medium tanks, but they can certainly get the job done. And just like that, what exactly are you gonna do against a T2 Hound Ball 9 minutes into the game? This is not a miniature investment in T2. This is a full-blown committed investment into T2. You can see metal continually being sent back to the Maroon Commander. I think I talked about this before, but technically speaking, the most efficient way to play this game, the very most numerically efficient way of doing it, is to, as soon as the first T2 lab comes up, everyone stops producing T1 units, and everyone immediately starts producing T2. Or rather, everyone starts sending metal to the T2 lab to just start producing T2. Technically speaking, the most efficient way of doing things, and that's exactly what we're seeing right here. I'm glad to see that my theory put into practice is looking quite sufficient. Excellently done by the Pew boys over here, the Stellas and Vader doing wonderfully to test these things out. And for what it's worth, seemingly making a massive play with it. Oh, little comm bomb over here. One will be resurrected, the other was already reclaimed. Not the end of the world. Looks like the Purple Commander Scimitar was trying to go for some sort of comeback mechanic, trying to bring this game back. Having a really hard time, though. We are just now seeing Fiends produced out of the lab right here. The Powder Blue Commander has a single T1 aircon to rebuild with. That's gonna take an eternity. Shuriken need to jump on top of these Hounds. But the blue team has crumbled. Yeah, and under the weight of that many Hounds already pushing forward, it was going to take a miracle for the blue team to come back, and they just didn't have it. Not to mention that they had lost both of the high seas, and that beautiful, beautiful Gunslinger push ended up crippling the front lines. Wow. Well, that was really quick, but let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you can think of a counter to this down below. The one thing that I can imagine is overwhelming aggression would probably kill the commander on the front line that was holding the front line, right? Stella's commander, if that was overwhelmed by grunts and pawns and that sort of thing and blasted down quickly, then you could probably eat up that commander and use it to pay for the T1 medium tanks or something to break through the line. But I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say down below. But anyways, thanks a ton for watching, and I will see you in the very next game of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.